Call the meeting to order. Have any citizen or public comments? Seeing none, welcome everybody. Consideration of approval of the agenda.
So move, Your Honor.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Agenda is approved as submitted. Consideration of approval of the minutes of the October 23 meeting. Any questions or discussion?
So move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
The minutes of the October 23 meeting are approved. Consideration of approval of the consent calendar. Any questions regarding the consent calendar?
Mayor, did we amend the agenda? Did I miss it?
I just thought of that too. As soon as they said, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, we did not amend it. We approved it already.
Okay.
Well, we'll just,
No worries.
we'll pass by it when we get to it.
Something we don't need to take action on, so we can
Yeah.
approve it. So we'll just take no action.
On the
That was what you were supposed to do. That's
on
okay.
the billings, talks about
Slow down.
Riverfront project, fund number 308. It's got a negative 10,285.15.
That is deposits coming in yet from the county. They
Okay.
they donated $5,000 every year, or 5 or 10,000. But that's what that is from. Those
Just waiting.
donations.
Okay.
We're waiting for that to come in.
I thought we'd collected everything. That's why I
Yes.
was asking.
Yeah,
3
that
years
was
for
like a 5-year.
5,000, and this is year 2.
Yeah, there
so.
we go.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
knew
fine. I
it was-
just didn't think we had anything sitting out there. Thank you.
Other questions or discussion? So move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Consent calendar is approved as submitted. Business of the mayor. This was my last formal event involving the Iowa League of Cities. I was down to Des Moines today for a legislative policy committee meeting. I will say that everybody needs to be paying a lot of attention to what's going on in the legislature during the upcoming session. Starting in January, the backfill issue will be highly central to their discussions because they have a great deal of difficulty with their budget at this particular point in Des Moines. So that alone will dictate a lot of concern on the part of local governments. On the bright side, Dustin Miller was there presenting in regard to the Conservation Innovation Grant that he brought in with him when he started as consul for the Iowa League. He now is in private practice, but is continuing to work on those issues, in part with the league and also as a private practitioner. The good news about all that was Charles City's name was mentioned. We've worked with him quite a bit, and Steve is working with him presently on a variety of different initiatives. It's changed a little bit from the pure trading process that they were originally working on to something about a little along the lines of getting more investment in the watersheds. And so that, but nevertheless, the same kind of partnership activities are envisioned with the things he's working on. So I would just report to everybody that we've made a considerable amount of progress in that direction. And I think that's just about everything that I certainly can continue to answer questions, and will probably be quite active in outside of the league. Obviously, my role at the Iowa League of Cities is done as of the end of the year, And so, but I will be continuing active in probably the Cedar Valley Coalition and other activities of Upper Cedar watershed as well. So that's it. Any questions regarding any of that? Okay. Request from Gospel Lighthouse for street closure for Christmas program.
Pastor Joe, if you want to come up, and thank you. You can introduce yourself
yes,
and just
Pastor-
tell us what you're looking for.
Pastor Joe Lowe from the Gospel Lighthouse Church, and we are hoping to put on a Christmas event in the park on December 21st, Thursday, 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. And we are requesting Kelly Street to be shut down to allow us to, one, put up a tent for wind block and heat, and to have refreshments in that, and also for the groups to be able to have a stage to stand on and sing, and for children to read the Christmas story. And our second reason would be for our horse and carriage rides to be safely loaded and unloaded. Since the last meeting, I do have proof of insurance, and I did speak to the ministerium. So it seems like everyone is looking at this as a good, positive event for not only the people directly involved, but also as an outreach for people of our city and our community.
And you had visited with the businesses that would be affected by closing off the north end of the alley there?
Actually, no, I have not.
Okay. I guess the main one I'm thinking of is like TJ Service there, and I'm not sure if anybody else uses. I thought it said on the application it was checked, that neighboring businesses had been checked with, but I guess we just need to make sure that we check with those people.
I can do that for sure.
They should have room to turn around and go out the south end of that parking lot.
But
Yes, that's correct.
I was approached about this after our last meeting, and
Right.
somebody thought Main Street was being closed down. And about had my
I've heard
head
that too.
about had my head handed to me because that's what they read in the paper. So I'm
Wow.
it's easier to
Yes.
talk about it ahead of time than
Absolutely, for sure.
afterwards. So
That's
Definitely.
not what the paper said, but that was they read in the paper.
Right.
What was the date of this again?
Exactly. Excuse me?
What was the date of this again?
December 21st, Thursday.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I would just say, as I did at the Pine Session, just continue to work with people like Mark Wicks that had done events like this, since this is your first time actually being fully running an event, and just feel free to kind of fall back on them and other event organizers to really allow this to be an easy flow
Yes.
for you to make it that much more successful.
Thank you. I'll do that, definitely.
Other questions?
I'd so move.
Second. Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
All right.
Reisman.
Aye.
Your request has been granted.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Pastor. Good luck.
What do you want?
Who do I give this to?
You can, if you want to leave it over there with Steve, he'll give it to me after the meeting. Thank you.
Consideration of Resolution 124-17, amending resolution approving truck purchase for Housing Department. Discussion.
Yeah, at our council workshop, we talked about updating this request for the housing department to purchase a truck. When we last approved this, we had pricing for the 2016 models and, the 2017 models, and those models are no longer available. It's the 2018 pricing that we have to look at, so it's going to be a little bit more in cost. For the 3/4 ton pickup and snowplow attachment, not the snowplow attachment, we're looking at the $31,597 would be the total cost. That's part of the state bid, and so there's a $13,878 state discount that comes with that. But that is the new price we're looking at. I don't have the old price in front of me, but I know this one's a couple $1,000s higher than the original or the last one we approved. But it's for a year newer model. And so, on the housing department, we budgeted $40,000 to go towards a pickup truck purchase, and so the $31,597 falls within that budgeted amount. And In addition to a truck and snowplow attachment, it does include a sprayed-in bed liner as well. So, just looking for a motion to approve.
Questions or discussion?
This is all funded through the housing department funds.
That is correct.
I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Resolution 124-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 125-17, approving lease of Walsh Ball Field from Mid-America. Discussion.
We did get an updated map from Mid-American, and I didn't make a copy for all you guys, but it's definitely the correct map. It's not somewhere in Des Moines or whatever.
Johnston, actually.
Was that, oh, really? Is that where?
Where was it?
Yeah, because I emailed
Johnston.
my colleague down in West Des Moines and said we're going to be starting a park program down there.
Oh,
He said that's
funny.
actually in Johnston, so.
Oh, funny. But we do have a corrected map that I will attach as Exhibit A, as Attachment A.
So
So,
they have to pay the fare of the Little Leaguers to get down there.
oh, goodness gracious. But other than that, everything else remains the same as what we talked about, so.
So move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Resolution 125-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 126-17, approving lease of IC ball field from Immaculate Conception Church. Discussion.
Well, while we're at it, we're renewing our ball field leases, and this was the original one that we had brought forth and have here to update with the Immaculate Conception Church. Again, as with Mid-American, it mentions a nominal amount for rent, but this one mentions $1 per year, but I think that's just for legal purposes. I don't know that there actually be a transaction for it, but nonetheless, we'll be leasing ball fields from IC schools once again, and just trying to get current on all our leases of other property.
How long does this one run for?
It's on a year-to-year basis, but it does automatically renew unless it's canceled in advance of that renewal period. So hopefully it's not something we'll have to revisit again for a while.
I was going to ask, is that the same way the Mid-American one?
No, unfortunately, they dictated the terms of that, and that is a 3-year lease.
A 3-year, okay.
I'd have to look at it again, but I believe it's just subject to approval on that 3-year term on the same terms and conditions. So
That's what I thought, but I couldn't remember for sure.
I think when I read that, we're not going to get in trouble paying Mid-America $12 a year and IC $1 a year, are we?
Well, I think one of the
Discriminatory
conversations
practices?
one of the conversations that Brad had with Mid-American was that they were not going to be billing us for it. No, there is an amount in there.
I so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Resolution 126-17 is approved. Consideration of the third reading of ordinance 1109, amending sections 3, 17, 19, and 18 of the zoning ordinance of the City of Charles City, Iowa, 2015, by adding a definition for the consumer fireworks and by adding the sale of consumer fireworks as a principal permitted use of in B-4 Highway Service Business District and M-2 General Manufacturing District, and as a special use in M-1 Light Manufacturing District and B-2 General Business District. Discussion.
Well, this item is for the consideration of the third reading of ordinance 1109. The consumer fireworks state law does allow local governments to control where fireworks will be sold at through the zoning regulations. Looking at our zoning districts, Ordinance 1109 will restrict fireworks sales as a permitted activity in the B4 Highway Business Service District, as well as the M2, the General Manufacturing District. Fireworks sales can also then be allowed as a special use in the B2 Service Business District, and this will also include the B3, which is the Service Business District, and the M2 Light Manufacturing District. Now, special use permits are issued following a review and approval by the city's Board of Adjustment. Ordinance 1109 also adds a definition for consumer fireworks. The first and second readings of this ordinance were approved October 16th and November 6th. I would recommend approval of the third reading as well as authorization for the clerk to publish the approved ordinance.
There's been no changes to this. I mean, well, we didn't get a copy of it this time, but there's been no changes since the last two times, right?
No changes.
Has there been any comments to anybody regarding this?
I have not received any.
I haven't received any.
I have not either. I don't know if anybody else on the council had, or...
Haven't heard a word.
The only comment I've received is I had a question that came to me from Hy-Vee wanting to know about whether they could potentially sell fireworks. So, contingent upon this, they probably could.
Further discussion or questions?
I would so move, Your Honor.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Okay, the third reading is approved, and we'll have the third reading.
An ordinance amending Section 3, 17, 18, 19 of the zoning ordinance of the City of Charles City, Iowa, 2005, by adding a definition for consumer fireworks and by adding the sale of consumer fireworks as a principal permitted use in B4 Highway Service Business District and M2 General Manufacturing District, and as a special use in M1 Light Manufacturing District and B2 General Business District.
Thank you.
Okay, the third reading has been read.
Would you like to
Can-
outline where that all is?
So deep in there.
Consideration of a motion to adopt and publish ordinance 1109.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Okay, the ordinance is considered adopted and will be published. Consideration of third reading of ordinance 1112, amending section 20 of the zoning ordinance of the City of Charles City, Iowa, by amending provisions relating to accessory structures located in the floodplain and by incorporating new terms into the definition of this section. Discussion.
Well, tonight we have scheduled the third reading of ordinance 1112. If you remember, since we participate in the National Flood Insurance Program, as well as we have permitting authority within the city has to have floodplain management requirements which mirror and are the same as the state DNR's statewide floodplain requirements. Now, recently the DNR did inform us that there have been changes to the state's floodplain requirements. Essentially, well, basically they're regarding, the changes were regarding detached garages, structures, accessory buildings. Any accessory structure larger than 600 square feet has to now meet the elevation requirements set by the base flood elevation. The structure has to be elevated to be above the base flood. Previously, all the accessory buildings were exempt from this requirement. The ordinance also includes revisions to the survey datum. It updates from the 1929 datum to the 1988 datum. Now, the first and second readings of the ordinance were approved on October 16th and November 6th. I'd recommend approval of the third reading as well as authorization for the clerk to publish the ordinance.
Again, I guess same question. There's no changes to anything. Okay.
No changes. Yeah,
We didn't get the thing to look at, so I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing.
it's the same thing.
And no questions to anybody?
I haven't received any.
Comments? Okay. I'd so move.
You'd so move, Wookie?
I'll second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Valero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Okay, the third reading is approved. We'll have the third reading.
As soon as it gets here. Ordinance number 1112, an ordinance amending section 20 of the zoning ordinance of the city of Charles City, Iowa by amending provisions relating to accessory structures located in the floodplain and by incorporating new terms into the definitions of the section.
Okay. Thank you. Consideration of a motion to adopt and publish ordinance 1112.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Okay, the ordinance is adopted and will be published. Consideration of Resolution 127-17, endorsing high-quality jobs application by Zoe. Discussion. Do we
Yep.
have that?
Yep, basically what this is Zoetis' application into the state, which the state has already approved. So, typically the city will endorse that application, and which we've done verbally and through communication. This is just the documented piece that goes with it. Signs off, shows that the mayor and the city are in support of their application. So just need to authorize this so the mayor can officially sign it, and we can include that into the packet with IEDA, and hopefully on the Zoetis side we hear from them soon about what their plans are moving forward.
We haven't heard yet.
No, and as you may recall, we had a couple of public hearings on the agenda for tonight, but in speaking with the folks from Zoetis, they haven't gotten that official determination one way or the other, so they said it'll be coming soon. They just asked for our patience, so we're doing that.
I would so move.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 127-17 is approved. We're omitting, I believe,
Right.
the next item, which is Resolution 128-17.
Some councilman forgot to bring that up at the time before we authorized the agenda. And that a councilman severely apologizes for it.
Basically, what this is enterprise zone with the housing program. On Friday, Tim Fox asked to have the mayor approve, have the council approve this so the mayor could sign. And we put it on the agenda, unsure if that was something that we had to do here from in our capacity, because it's something that actually comes through the county. So Tim was able to verify and let me know Friday night that the County Board of Supervisors has to sign off on this amendment. And basically, it's an amendment to go enterprise zone incentives from 8 homes to 6 homes, because that period is ending here at the end of 2017, and so county has to sign off on that amendment. So we don't have to take action on it.
And consideration of a motion approving hosting a retirement party for Mayor Erb. Discussion.
Could be a lot of discussion about that, but
Okay.
I just
Discussion.
Yeah, we've
Have it, huh?
in light of Mayor Erb's retirement after 22 years of service as our mayor, we're looking to host an open house here in the council chambers on December 28th, Thursday, from 3 to 6 p.m. That'll be open to the public. What we'd like to ask is the council's permission to not only use the council chambers here for that reception, but to allow the city to use a small amount of city funds for punch and cake, which is pretty standard operating procedure, I guess. So we'd like to get the council's approval on that and officially schedule that so we can start letting the public know. I know I fielded a number of questions as to when we might be doing something, and so this is the when and why. So Thursday, December 28th, from 3 to 6 p.m. in this room.
I so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Motion's approved. Consideration of miscellaneous correspondence.
We got a nice thank you from Jane for the flowers for her father's funeral that all of you guys donated to, so she was very appreciative of it. So, that's it.
Attorney's report.
Yes, Your Honor, I had the chance to take a look at that Mid-American lease. It's for a one-year term, but it's renewable for 3 consecutive one-year terms upon notice to Mid-American. I know Trudy and I had talked about putting a ticker on our calendars and make sure that notice goes out every year. Secondly, on Friday, I attended the Iowa Municipal Attorneys Association annual CLE in Johnston, and it's always interesting to hear how other city attorneys are handling issues that come up. One of the hot topics of discussion was fireworks, and it sounds like quite a few cities are outlawing the use of fireworks within city limits, which is what we elected to do. And then it was split. Probably about half of the attorneys who talked were limiting the sale of fireworks through their zoning ordinance. So again, it sounds like what the city elected to do is in line with what a lot of other communities are doing with fireworks. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Any nuisance property discussions?
No, there was no nuisance property discussion.
You should start one next time you go.
You'd still be there talking about it, I think.
No, I didn't.
Thank you, bro.
City Clerk's report.
The next planning session will be on the 27th, which we will also have a special meeting that night to approve the TIF certification and the annual urban renewal report. We will be closed this Thursday and Friday in celebration of Thanksgiving, so wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
You turkeys get Turkey Day off.
Turkeys get Turkey Day. It's Mike's birthday that day, so he's our Thanksgiving turkey, my husband, Mike. So.
Anything else?
Nope.
City Administrator's report.
Yeah, well, today was the first day of people in the community getting their postcards for a selection of their garbage can size. So those of you that haven't been home yet today, you'll find a yellow postcard in the mail where you can call City Hall, you can email us, or you can stop on by and let us know. You can put it in the drop box too if you like. Let us know what size garbage container you'd like. So we started that today. So it's fairly busy all day, and I think we had over 200 people in today that either personally or dropped off cards, so they're coming in. And the size is all over the board, but probably the most are 35s so far. 35
200 out of possibly how many?
What, 3,300, 3,400?
3,400.
Yep. December 1st is our deadline. It's a short deadline. We don't want people to forget about it, so we're trying to keep that fairly tight. So December 1st is the deadline to have that selection in. And if it isn't in by December 1st, I think we're just, shortly thereafter we're going to just assign a medium size, the 65-gallon container. And of course everybody has the option to switch that if they want, but we want to try and get as many of those responses in as possible. So
when you say a sign, you're going to mail them a note that they're going to get the middle size if they don't?
It's on the postcard, it says that.
yeah, it says on the postcard.
Yeah, that if you don't respond, you're automatically assigned this size.
Yeah, and we're assuming the 65 would be the most common size, so there might be a lot of people that just don't respond because of that. So
Have you gotten many responses so far that they've never heard about this whole matter? And that
yeah, I think a few. I know I handled several phone calls today myself, and a couple of them were asking what it was about, but most of them were just curious about a couple little odds and ends. But I don't know. I don't know what the overall. I think most that came in were aware of something happening.
Tomorrow and the next day, I suspect you'll get people will register that and be calling if they haven't been paying attention.
Yeah.
9 months isn't enough leeway to get people to take notice.
Well, it's unfortunate, but there's a whole lot of people who don't take the paper, who don't listen to the radio, and don't.
So you'll have that. You'll
Right,
have that.
exactly.
So So that's off and running. Just to follow up, since with that easy enterprise zone that we had on the agenda tonight, I kind of did some review of the Allied subdivision and that project for Allied number 7, and that agreement asked for 8 homes, 8 units be built, with the last 2 coming on board here December 31st, 2017. As of right now, we have 6 homes. But if you go through and you look at the valuations that we're anticipating to come from those 8 homes are more than made up with the 6 homes. So we've met the valuation needs. So something we're going to look at a future agenda here is probably looking to amend that contract from the 8 to 6, or see how we want to move forward on that. But it was good to see that everything we anticipated from a financial standpoint was coming in on that, and so that increment's what's going to drive the funding of that project. So that was good to see.
The valuations was the most important part of that, and we've got that, so if they add 2 lots later, that's additional income to the city, taxable income.
Yep. The last thing I just wanted to mention is our comprehensive plan surveys. Fantastic response from the public so far. We got another 100 or 200 in, I think, this weekend. We're close to 700 total respondents, so very pleased with that. We had like 250 a week ago. We made another push and gotten a lot more in. We still have a number of paper copies that we still have to enter in that we're receiving in. So very good response on the comprehensive plan surveys. And the last day for that will be this Friday, the 24th. So if you can, try and if you haven't taken that survey, you can still take it, and you can take it through Friday. You can go to the city website. You can find it there on the main page. Otherwise, hard copies are available at various locations, including City Hall. That's all I have.
Thank you. Board, commission, or committee reports? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we're adjourned.